Hello, back again. Alex Cobb, JE Instruction. Once again, got Shurah White just joining us today.
Hey.
Yeah, so Shurah is an insurance agent, obviously, and he has both his life and health as well as his PNC license. Um, as he's mentioned in previous videos, he kind of came in the industry with one designation kind of being his main focus, and then he evolved more into the life and health side of things, just to kind of fulfill some scheduling conflicts. So what I want to do is, as much as possible, because their typical is different for every agent. If you would describe a typical day for you, kind of when you got your life hunting going on, like what's a typical day for you?
Um, First, I just want to say that the issues in having a PNC and trying to just work off of your computer is a little difficult for you to get carriers, right? Because carriers want you to have a brick and mortar or some type of address that you're doing business. Is kind of not more the place to do business at home.
Right.
With your life license, life and health license, that's more something that you can do because you are mostly getting into doing home visits, and or if you have some type of meeting place that you can have clients come into and meet with them, but it's more on a home base. You're working off of your computer or a phone or a tablet, and you're just simply going to people's houses. It is a lead generated business though, and you want to have leads because at first you're going after friends and family and just your spectrum of people that you know, and then you have to go into just getting to the people that want your product. Okay, and that's where the leads come involved. We all have comments to talk about leads, and we can do a whole nother video on that at some point in time. But the uh, a day, okay, let's just say you have some leads, you want to put those in order. You may want to get your route mapped out the night before of who you're going to see, and we're just talking about 5 to 6 to 7 people at the most, maybe even 10. Okay, in one given area. And so once you have those mapped out the day before, and whatever schedule that you want to put together that you're going to stick to, whether you start at 8, 9, 10 a.m., even 11 a.m., even noon, because this is something that what you're basically doing is you have these 5 to 10 names, and you're going out to their home to visit them. And most of the time, it's people that you've already called and try to get on the phone, but you just can't get them on the phone. A lot of people don't answer numbers that they don't know. So going
Yeah.
out to their home and catch them at home is the best way to get them. And it is a numbers game. Some people you catch, that's why it's 5 to 10 names in a certain given area. Here, I do some local stuff in Whitfield County. I go to Walker County, I go to Catoosa County, I go to Gordon County, and I go to Murray County as well. Sometimes Chattooga, but that area is pretty big. Walker County is a very big area, so um, if I'm going to be working in an area, let's just say I'm working in Walker, then I'm gonna try to stay in Walker, okay? Unless I just got some really close Catoosa. So, and the way it works is that you go to your first name. Are they home? They're not home. Okay. Boom. We're gonna go to our next. Whether they're home or not, we're gonna go to the third. All right, and then at that point in time, we're going to evaluate where we are because we might want to go back around and hit door number one and door number two if they weren't home. Okay.
Now, if you go out and make a visit, and like you're saying, they're not home, uh, do you leave a card? Do you leave materials that you were there?
Not the first time. The first time it's just a door knock.
Okay.
If they're not there, then I know that I'm coming back later on that day within an hour or two, or maybe later on that afternoon if I got there that morning. So,
what program are you using to plan your route?
just you can get any app that organizes what the mine. I know the areas really well, so I don't necessarily use one myself, but there's a lot of apps out there for you to use.
I've heard a lot of good things on the free side about the route planner from MapQuest. I work with a lot of agents that have used that, and I'm hearing a lot of stuff about Salesforce because they've integrated some of the logistical stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
So you can actually choose whether you want to kind of, like you're saying, keep it geographically central, or if you want to have like a radius that more determines it, which may put you going through multiple counties on one particular outing. But as far as gas miles and as far as efficiency on time, it's
Right.
better than actually sticking to one zip code.
Right.
So I mean,
Exactly.
that's kind of where we're at with insurance in general. It's not a commodity the way a gallon of milk is, or a block of cheese, but it has really become so tech focused, and technology is so necessary and integral to what we're doing. For you to have any effort of being successful is to kind of embrace that on some degree,
Right.
because you're really just moving information from one place to another one at the end of the day.
True.
That's what a policy is. So so once you've got that, and you say you finished that original 5 or 10 that you had, at that point you said you'd go back to the original.
Yeah, yeah. You swing. You got to make a decision on where you are, because even though you're working in one county, I mean, if it's a big county, I mean, you got to take care of, say, hey, I'm a work this area all the way until I go to this before I go to the next area. Meaning that, just for example, here you got Fort Overthorpe and Rossville in Walker County. That's one general area here, but then you got Chickamauga. That's a little further out. So just saying that for the first part of the day, I want to try to at least get to these 5 people before I move on to these 5 people up here. So that's how I'm a backtrack. All right. And another what you're told in your training is to use the T system, which means the name you're going to see. If they're not home, you can knock on the door on the left, the right, and across the street, moving in a T motion here. Okay. That is another way to fill up your time without just leaving the area. Another thing is a tip that I like to use is, once I knock that door, whether somebody's home or whether somebody answered the door and the person I'm there to see is not there, they say, oh, they're expecting them back. I'm gonna go out to the car and I'm gonna jot down all my notes sitting right there in the driveway, because a lot of times the person may pull right up while you're sitting there doing the notes. So just a little tip.
Well, I know I certainly appreciate you kind of detailing the typical day in the life. It's basically being a life exclusive agent at that point in time. it's a very different reality from what you see with the traditional PNC, which is a lot of times you're more centrally located, almost stationary to some degree. There's a little variation when you get to commercial, how much you can get around the flexibility, but it seems to be like it's one extreme for the life and the health side, and then the other extreme for the P and the C. So again, I appreciate you kind of detailing that.
No problem, man.
And my personal saying, I've always said this: I don't care what you're doing. If you're bored in insurance, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah, that is true. Different people, different places.
Yeah, and the thing that would attract me is not necessarily going to attract you. We don't have to do the same thing to get the same amount of enjoyment and pleasure out of it. So,
Right.
the life you're describing would be better for me than the one where I'm sitting stuck at a desk. And I say that firsthand because I've been stuck at a desk before. That's not a lifestyle I want.
Right. But the thing that you have to get used to and make friends with and be comfortable with is a two-letter word. Starts with an N, starts with an O. I mean, ends with an O.
Yeah.
No. Gotta get comfortable with no, because there is an amount of no's to get to the yes. And that is the way to work. That it works. That is the hustle.
And for those of you that are considering this industry, and those of you that are, you're gonna know why I'm laughing. There's gonna come a time where you're gonna wish that all that person said to you was no, because there are countless ways they can phrase that, and some of them involve your mama, some of them involve get off my property, some of them involve I better never see you again. So there'll be days where you just wish for the word no, but
Right.
but he's correct. It's a numbers game. The more people you see, the more chances of success you have. So we're no different than a car salesman on that. That's what the sales industry is. And
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of a car salesman, that's sort of the example that I hear a lot of is that we that's just who we are, and that's just how we are. If we are looking to buy a car, we go to the car lot. But when somebody asks, "Can I help you?" the first thing we say is, "No, I'm just looking." So a lot of times that's how it works when I go to a door. Not interested. Okay, awesome. I understand. You requested the information, so I'm getting that information to you. Can I come in for a few minutes? It only take a few minutes for us to go over this information, and that's how whatever they say next. What we're trying to do is get them that information. That's the part that we're looking to do, and sometimes it takes saying it 2 or 3 ways before you actually get into the house. But that's just how we're designed to be.
right. Yep. So be persistent, be strong-willed, but mostly don't be sensitive, because the yeses and the nos, they rarely have anything to do with you personally. They either like the product or they don't like the product. They either like the presentation or they don't like the presentation. So whether it's good or bad, don't internalize it too much, because it rarely has anything to do with you individually as much as it does with the entire, process and product and procedure of how this, that you got to this point. So be strong-willed and don't be overly sensitive.
And as always, like they always say, if it was easy, everybody would do it. But if the easy way makes a better life, if that's what you want, the hard way makes a better life if that's what you want. It's up to you.
Yeah. So, thanks again, guys. Questions, comments below. As always, you know, if you want to click the like button, we won't argue with you. But
Just go ahead and click it.
yeah. So, until we meet again.
Oh, and if you do click that button, you might as well hit the bell and go ahead and subscribe because we got more videos coming.
Yes, we will. We'll have more topics, more videos, and more people. So you won't have to just look at these two faces every single time. Thanks, guys.